Welcome back, y'all.
What's up, y'all?
Construction, man. Me and Jamal today. We riding out today. We're gonna hit some topics, man. But Jamal, man, how was your week, brother?
Been a very, very, very busy week, man. I'm a busy man. I'm looking forward to just relaxing and watching some basketball today. Some Charlotte Hornets less basketball, but basketball nonetheless, man.
So you want to watch good basketball? You're saying?
You didn't have to go there.
Look. We lost it with the last 7 games. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Look. Facts over feelings. That was not good basketball we played.
Is that where you're at these days?
Facts over feelings, man. But man, I echo the same sentiments, man. Busy ass week.
Yeah.
School's kicking my butt, man. Got these other interviews and then work. Look. Today's a day of rest, and then it's back to the ground tomorrow.
There it is, man.
There it is.
But look, we ain't gonna talk about all that adult stuff now because it's depressing. So let's have some fun on the show today, man. Hopefully, our chat crew will show up, man. Unfortunately, our brother's not here today, so we gotta hold it down. We gotta have some fun today, man.
Let's go, man. Look, I want to start off talking about Rick Bonnell, man.
Yeah, no doubt. It's appropriate.
He's a Hornets legend. He's been with the team. Well, he's been covering the team since '88. He didn't travel with the team when they went to New Orleans. He's a true staple in the community through and through. He was found deceased in his home a few days back, and it came as a complete shock, man. So, how did you feel when you heard the news that Rick passed?
No, it was no other words to describe it except shocking. It feels like it literally just kind of came out of nowhere. You know what I mean? Because
right.
There was no word of him kind of battling any kind of health issues or him being sick. Not saying that wasn't the case. It's just that we didn't hear about him. You know what I'm saying? It was just very sudden, man. And sudden deaths are really hard. They're harder to process more than anything. And his kind of sudden death, man, it's still kind of hard to process. It's funny we're mentioning this, man, because that morning I had saw I'm not gonna say an unreliable source, but a source that was unproven. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
I had heard from a source that he had passed away, and my first thought was, look, man, I'm not gonna post anything until I really,
know for certain,
confirm it, right, everything. And I didn't want to believe it. I just thought it was some idiot on the internet that was just joking around or just wanted to be heard, something like that. But then when, I look on Twitter and WFNZ confirms it, man, it was heartbreaking, dude. It was like, man, if you're really into Charlotte basketball, I mean, really, really a real Charlotte basketball head, he's synonymous with Charlotte basketball. And I checked his Twitter and I noticed that he hadn't tweeted in about 3 days. Yeah. So I'm like, this doesn't look good. And then it was confirmed, man, and it broke my heart, dude. It really did.
Man, when I heard, man, a good friend of the show, Danny, texted me to let me know. Danny has always kind of told stories to me about how Rick was gracious to him when he started first covering the beat over a decade ago. And just the interactions with him online, like he would always answer my questions that I had about the Hornets. He gave the fans access to answer those questions. And to me, like looking at him, man, he like before we had all these internet insiders and stuff like that.
Right.
He was the go-to guy.
Right.
If he wanted to know anything that was happening in Charlotte. Like he was so significant and known. MJ put a release out on Rick Bonnell.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then you look at a lot of people that are with the organization or what was previously with the organization. They respected Bonnell's craft. And he was a guy who could have went very negative on the Hornets, but he gave them a lot of grace on a lot of things, and he gave them a voice to answer the question, answer questions that he did have for them. And he wasn't part of the hot take culture.
But with that being said, he was always very realistic. He did not sugarcoat anything either. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, honestly, man, a lot of people were turned off by him when he was really just doing his job. You know what I mean?
It's a double-edged sword, man. He had a a funny type personality. Like a lot of people's like, you think he's just being a smart A, but that's just his personality. And if he likes you, and if you're in with him, he's the sweetest person in the world.
Right.
And like, I never really got the chance to know him like that. Just with my interactions online with him, he was a good dude. Like he was really a good dude. He told the truth, no matter what the Hornets fans thought about the truth.
Right.
He was brutally honest to where we need honesty. Like he was a true throwback journalist. And I don't think we're going to see that anymore.
And speaking to that point, man, I'm glad you brought that up, man, because we know journalism there's so many facets to journalism these days, especially with the internet. And the way that he's been able to adapt, I mean, we're talking 33 years, you know what I'm saying? So he's had to adapt to this changing landscape of journalism and what it means to be a real journalist. And the way that he adapted that was awesome.
Masterful. It was masterful. Yeah. It was very masterful. Like he look, just looking back at it, the man was smart enough to incorporate the fan mailbag.
Right.
Every week. He was smart enough to incorporate it into his newspaper articles. So, oh man, he answered my question. This is in the article. You're automatically generating clicks off of that. Right. Man, look, man, Rick is really gonna be missed, man, especially in Charlotte.
You know what I have to always give Rick props for over the years, man. The way he handled trolls and the way he handled
look, man, it's funny. It's very funny, man.
I think I could learn a lot from Rick when it comes to that, man. He handled the negative and the trolls way better than I could ever dream of doing, man.
And man, look, you need to go back and read all that stuff and just soak it all in, because sometimes you be like, oh, let me you want to punch back, but hey, look, man. Sometimes all you got to put is a witty answer, and it answers everything.
Right.
Away.
Hey, man, that's that Beatty's Ford in me, man. I just can't resist confrontation, man. I'm sorry, bro. Well, go ahead, man.
Hey, man, but one of the touching things I did see was the NBA Jump. They had something. Rachel Nichols said something. Yeah. TNT.
These are heavy hitters, man. Like this is, you know what I mean?
And it's just like you don't. It's just like when you think of Charlotte basketball. I said this before earlier. When you think of Charlotte basketball, you don't think of Under Construction. You don't think of all these other little podcasts and stuff like that with credentials. You think of Rick Bonnell. Yeah, Rick Bonnell was plugged in all these years. You may have called him old school, whatever, but the NBA community vastly respected Rick Bonnell.
Yep.
I'm glad he's getting his flowers.
Yeah.
And his family can see what the impact he's made. And you'll be missed, Rick. The beat will never be the same. It will never be the same. Like, you are a walking encyclopedia of Hornets knowledge.
Yeah.
You literally saw everything,
man. And you know, something I wanted to touch on, man. You know, I'm reading this Charlotte Observer article, man, and this is the second time they've got hit with, you know, a death in the family, so to speak. The photographer David Foster also passed away as well, man. Rest in peace to him, and condolences to him and his family as well, man. And between just the Charlotte Observer and WFNZ, you know, the two main local media outlets as far as sports is in the city, man, they're really taking this hard, man. Like Rick Bonnell was family to these people. If you've been paying attention, you know, to Chris McClain and to T-Bone's post on Twitter and Facebook, man.
My boy Kyle Bailey, man.
Yeah, they're legitimately torn up by this. Like, so you can tell, man, there's definitely a closeness to the people who really knew Rick Bonnell, man. You know what I mean? And it's profound to see it, honestly.
Yeah. So, man, let's get on something else, man.
Yeah, right. It's been enough depression news around here lately, man. So,
Jamal, I got a question for you.
Yep.
A few nights ago, the Lakers lost in 6 games to Phoenix.
And you know, I was wondering why this week has been so great, and you just reminded me why. But go ahead.
Hey man, I immediately thought of you and your Charlotte Laker hate.
Yes.
What did you like? Wait, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
I know my answer.
Okay.
I know my answer to this question. Does that first round loss take away anything from LeBron's legacy?
My answer might be surprising. No, it doesn't.
We're on the same page.
And listen, man, for all the fan stuff, and when I say fan stuff, the fan stuff is mostly stupid, man. Look, man, I cheer when the Lakers lose because I hate the Lakers, blah, 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 blah. But if we're being objective here, bro, and we're talking about LeBron James' legacy, his legacy is written. There's nothing you can do to tear down this man's legacy, dude. If you're objectively looking at it, man. I try my best not to get in any of these stupid MJ LeBron debates, man, because it's so oversaturated and it gets dumber by the minute. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just stick with his legacy for a second. We're talking about what, a 4-time MVP, 3-4-time MVP, something like that. The man has 4 championships.
4 finals MVPs.
4 finals MVPs. He's done it with multiple teams, man.
Third all-time leader, second to third all-time leader scorer in the league history.
He'll be second by the time he's done if he plays another year or two. He might be first, bro. He might be one, depending on how long he plans on playing, man. There's nothing you can do to tear down this man's legacy. And to be specific about this particular series, man, it's okay to just say Phoenix was a better team. It's totally fine to say that, guys. Phoenix is not only a better team, but a younger and better team. And it was impossible for the Los Angeles Lakers to beat the Suns with the unhealthy Anthony Davis. There's no shot. Now, to tie that back into LeBron James, man, the guy is 36 years old, man. I'm not going to expect 36-year-old LeBron James to put the team on his shoulders like the joke has been going around and carry that team past the Suns, bro. It's that simple, man.
And if you're a real basketball observer and you look at how he played this series, he lost a little bit. Like you can tell
there's something off the fastball.
It's a lot off the fastball. Like if you look at some of those plays, he doesn't have the elevation or jumper like he used to.
Right.
He really, to me, he doesn't get to the rim as easy and as effectively like he used to. I mean, people say, "Oh man, he jumped high on the alley oop." Yeah, it was nobody in front of him. He had a clear runway.
Right.
Like it's. Look, man, the man is 30.
And did you notice, like, more and more lately, man? There's been those defensive lapses with LeBron, and
it's been like that for a few years. If we're being honest,
but the thing is, you can attribute that to age, man. Like, people have to understand in professional basketball. I don't think the average person understands how much energy you have to exert on both ends of the floor. And when you're 36 years old, you really have to pick your spots, so to speak. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's what LeBron's doing what any other 36-year-old in the NBA does. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, it's people don't realize, man, like, me and you know this, we've seen enough basketball. Father Time is undefeated.
It's undefeated, bro.
Face. And Michael Jordan faced Father Time, and LeBron James will face Father Time.
It is undefeated.
Father Time already kind of turned the corner, LeBron.
Yeah.
You're going to see that dip pretty soon. But at the end of the day, he's still probably better than 90% of the NBA.
You took the words out of my mouth, man, because look, man, there's a very short list of players who put up a better fight against Father Time than LeBron James, man. It's that's just the truth of the matter, bro. Look, if LeBron James says, "Hey, man, trade me to the Hornets tomorrow," we'd be downtown celebrating.
Look, we already know we're getting at least a conference finals appearance. You know what I'm saying? Look, it may not be NBA finals, it'll be conference finals, and that's good with me.
We know we would probably get paid in the second round at least, man. So that man's legacy don't take a hit one iota to me, bro.
Jamal, look, this is the first time since 2010 that LeBron James nor Stephen Curry will be in the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you a question, bro.
Yeah.
Is it a changing of the guard, or is it just a pause and we're back to regularly scheduled program next year.
I think it's a change of the guard, dude. I really do. I do, man. Now there is a bit of a caveat to this because we know that man Clay comes back next year. On top of that man Clay coming back next year, we don't know what the Warriors have up their sleeve. You know what I'm saying? I got to give the Warriors brass a lot of credit, man. Look, they do what it takes to put a winning product on that damn floor every year, bro.
Yep.
And we don't know what they have up their sleeve this summer, man. But I will say this, dude. I will say this, man. Even with Clay coming back next year, they ain't getting no younger. You get what I'm saying?
No.
I think teams like Utah, teams like Denver. Let's take those two teams in particular real quick, man. I think what they're doing this year and the playoff medal that they're going through this year, that's not going to do anything but help them going forward, man. And to me, that's not going to do anything but make it tougher for teams like Golden State, regardless of who comes back and who plays for them next year. You know what I mean? So in a sense, man, I do think it's a changing of the guard, man.
To be honest with you, man, I think it's a pause. Because you already know the Lakers going to find some way to steal some efficient player next year.
Yeah.
And AD should be healthy. I mean, to be honest with you, man, it's probably a different series if AD is healthy.
I agree with that, but let me push back on that just a bit, man, because I saw something interesting, and this was a really good point. Look at LA's roster last season, right? So they went from, look at the bench players and the role players. They went from Dwight Howard to Marc Gasol and Harold and Andre Drummond, which let's just call it what it is, probably a downgrade. They went from Rajon Rondo to Dennis Schrader, downgrade. They went from what's the other one, man? I'm not thinking of right now. Danny Green to whoever. All those important guys they moved on from, and it didn't pay off. My point is, if they decide to do the same thing again this offseason, it's kind of rolling dice. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, do we know what they're going to get out of whoever this offseason and who they're going to get? Now, we know the Lakers can fail up. You know what I'm saying? We know they get to fail, and then they get their pick of the litter in the offseason. We know how it goes. But I'm just not so sure they can work that same magic this summer. I'm just not so sure of that.
Look, man, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked. Because if we looked at it, man, before all those injuries hit, they were top 4 in the West.
And they play defense.
And they play some defense. I'm gonna give them that. They do play some defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's all dependent upon a healthy AD.
Yeah.
We're actually seeing how important AD is because LeBron ain't getting no younger. And
here's my hot take for the day. I actually thought AD should have won Finals MVP last season, but let's
don't say that. It's blasphemy. Look, you're a LeBron hater. Like,
I'm a hater.
LeBron Hive will come after you, bro. But man, I want to talk about the Warriors too, man. Like, people don't realize they have 2 lottery picks this year.
Yeah.
They have their own pick, and they have Minnesota's pick. So you can feasibly package somebody like a James Wiseman, Minnesota's pick, and Anthony Wiggins to match salaries to get like a Jaylen Brown or Domantas Sabonis.
Right.
They have chips that they can cash in.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. And that's a good point, man. And I think, I mean, just by you saying that, man, they obviously have more flexibility than the Lakers team would. So we'll see, man. I'll say this much, man. Let's say the Warriors they work their magic and they upgrade this roster next year. It's fair to say it's a pause, but can we also agree that Denver team is coming, that Utah team? Look, man, dude, I'll put it to you like this: look at what Denver is doing without Jamal Murray. I'll keep it that simple.
Look, man, I like Jokic. But if I have an offensive center or a dynamic wing,
right?
I'm putting you in the pick and roll all the time. I'm making you choose. I'm taking you to the back. Like, I like Jokic, and I think he's pretty effective. But defensively, that he's not that guy.
No, I agree. I agree.
And then I've never really been a fan of Jamal Murray. I think that bubble thing was kind of a fluke to me. I've never been a Jamal Murray fan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like Steplen said, the Suns will beat Denver. They will beat Denver.
I agree with that.
Because Ayton is physical enough to disrupt Jokic a little bit, and I'm not a believer in Aaron Gordon being consistent.
Now, Aaron Gordon is a wild card. We agree on that because here's the thing with Aaron Gordon, man. When he plays well, that team takes off. I look at the last 2 games of that Denver Portland series, man. He was the X factor. Yeah. And I agree with your take. I'm not disagreeing with that notion, man. And I think they kind of go as he goes. I think it was a good trade overall, but I do think that he's a big X factor. I'll agree with you there.
And then,
what do you think about Utah overall?
I wouldn't be shocked if they made the finals.
Mm-hmm.
They're a deep team. Jordan Clarkson off the bench is as elite as you're going to get in the NBA right now, and Donovan Mitchell is a game changer.
Yeah.
That deal that they made last year for Mike Conley was probably one of the best lower level type of deals.
Under the radar,
under the radar type deals because the dude is a steadying point and he can play a little bit of defense and actually kind of run the offense. I mean, Utah's gonna be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever wins this Dallas and Clippers game is going to be in for some trouble. This next round. To be honest with you, man,
you know we got to talk about this.
Man, look, that's how I'm like, look. Utah is born. Let's jump into Denver. Let's jump into that, man. Dallas fumbled the bag. Dallas should have closed them out. Dallas is going to lose today.
You think so?
Dallas is going to lose by – it's going to be a close one. Dallas is going to lose. Kawhi Leonard, Jesus Christ. That dude was a hit. That dude, look, people talk trash about him not being a leader and all that other stuff, but when he locks in,
he's unstoppable.
One of the best players in the NBA. Like,
yeah.
Like, if you remember anything from his San Antonio days, this is a totally different player. Like, he was crossing people over in his bag, step back threes. I'm like, yo, where is this guy coming from? Now, don't get me wrong. Luka is exciting to watch. Like, Luka will bring more eyes to that series, but Kawhi ain't going
home. Let me say this, man. Let's look. When the Mavericks were walking off the floor the other night, I saw this look in Luka Doncic's eyes that said, I'm scoring 50 today. I'm not saying Dallas is going to win. I'm not comfortable enough to say Dallas is going to win. If we had money on the table, I don't know if I'd throw my money out yet. However, that Luka Doncic, man, I expect him to go apeshit today. I really, really do.
I fully expect it, but this is my question. What are you going to get from the crew?
That was my next point. And specifically, Kristaps Porzingis. That was my next point.
Gosh, like,
dude, when is he gonna start getting smoked? Seriously, dude. I mean, because listen, Dallas is one of those teams nobody is expecting to like be in the conversation for championship yet. All right, so we everybody focuses on Luka. He's the next thing. We get on it. When is Kristaps Porzingis, the guy that you bought from the Knicks, the guy that you traded the farm for? When is he gonna start getting smoked as that second guy? Without him, they have no shot at winning this.
To be honest with you, man, it's a combination of the injuries and scheme. Like, he is nothing but a 7-foot guard at this point.
Right.
And I want Rick Carlisle to utilize him more within that second role. But I got a hot take for you, man. In that trade to get Kristaps, Tim Hardaway Jr. was in that trade. Mm-hmm. And I could guarantee you, Tim Hardaway Jr. has been a better Dallas Maverick than Kristaps.
Listen. If it comes down to trading Porzingis or Tim Hardaway Jr., I'd get Porzingis can go as far as I'm concerned, man. I'm with you,
man. Look, man, it's gonna be a great game. That's all I gotta say.
That's all,
Look,
dude. I can't wait to watch this thing
I'm
today.
I'm like I was watching the other night. I'm straight tuned in today. Everything is off. I'm focusing on the game. I'm watching all the nuances. I'm watching Nick Batum try hard today. I'm watching everything.
Speaking.
Talk about it, man.
Let me go get my blood pressure medicine real quick, man, before I talk about this, man. But in all seriousness, dude. So there was a bit of a hot take this morning in the Charlotte Hornets group, as there tends to be every 5 minutes. And somebody attributed Nick Batum's quote unquote better play. They attributed that to better coaching. What's your take on that, man? How can you?
So are we gonna call Tyronn Lue a better coach than James Borrego? Tyronn Lue has been gifted rosters,
championship rosters,
since championship level rosters since he started. And to be honest with you, he took over Doc Rivers. The team didn't really get better at all. If anything, they taken a half a step back. And for somebody to say, "Oh, better coaching and this and this and this," you have to be trolling at this point, because what is Ty Lue known for? What's his signature coaching thing? Like, what model adjustments has he made? Like, if you want to talk about coaching, talk to me. Talk.
You mean like talk real coaching? Like
Is his after timeout plays good, or do you like his rotations? Because if I'm looking at this, playing Zubac ain't helping them win.
Right.
Continue to play Zubac. Rondo has not been out there at the end of games like he should have been playing he should.
Whom they made such a point to trade for, because they thought Rondo was going to make them so much better offensively, and it's kind of proven to not be the best fit. You know what I mean? So what are we talking here?
It's a lot of things, man. Like I honestly believe people like to talk, to hear themselves talk. People like to eat word salad all the time. If you don't know what you're talking about, just because at the end of the day you look stupid.
Here's my take on this, man. Coaches don't make you hit wide open shots any better than you did when you were on another team. Coaches don't make you do that. I don't know if coaches can motivate a 30-something-year-old guy any better than he would be in the previous year. I don't know if a coach can do that at this point in Nick Batum's career.
Jamal. If me and Nick Batum, I'm older than Nick Batum. If I played in Charlotte with kind of no chance to be really past the first round of the playoffs, you tell what the hell would motivate me? Playing on the potential championship roster, I'm gonna be up for a little bit more games. So for Nick to look a little more spry is a natural thing, because you think you have something more to play for,
right?
But you didn't live up to your contract, and I understand injuries played a part in some of that.
Right,
you didn't live up to your contract, bro. And with a big contract, you got big responsibilities in your back, and you didn't do well handling those responsibilities.
And not only that, man. We always want to be fair. Whenever we talk on this show, man, we always want to be fair. I want to be fair and say that elbow injury was a bigger thing than everyone made it out to be. But there is also a thing called professionalism, man. And look, Del Curry is the nicest person in the world. He barely has anything bad to say about anybody. The shade that Del Curry was throwing at Nick Batum when they played Charlotte earlier this year, Del Curry threw a rainforest full of shade at Nick Batum during that game. If that doesn't let you know something, I don't know what else does. And it just kind of lends itself to Del Curry talking about the same lack of professionalism that Boris Diaw had, as well as Nick Batum. Y'all can make the connection if you want to. I'm not going to say it, but there you go.
Man, we're gonna have to move on to this one, because I don't want to get over there.
That's right.
Look, man, I got a hot take for you. If Joel Embiid is not 80%, I got the Hawks winning the series in 6.
Which he's playing today, by the way. The notification just popped up. He is playing today. This is a series that's really hard for me to kind of predict. And I think the main reason I'm having trouble kind of coming to a conclusion with this series is because of Joel Embiid's health. If Joel Embiid is not healthy, I don't think the Sixers have any chance of winning this series. It's as simple as that. Now, if big old asterisk by if Joel Embiid is healthy, it's a close series, man. I don't know what I would predict if he's healthy, bro. I really don't.
Man, the reason why I'm saying this, the reason why I'm saying it is because outside of Embiid in the paint, Atlanta bigs are just better. Like
they are, right?
Clint Capella, John Collins. I really don't consider Ben Simmons a power forward or anything like that. He's a point guard to me, point-ish guard.
Yeah.
But I mean, his lack of shooting is going to come back and bite Philly in the butt. I mean,
it almost did already, but yeah.
I like Tobias Harris, but Tobias Harris on a championship team cannot be your number 2 option.
Right.
He's a tailor-made third option, which is fire. But Philly's in trouble. Like, Philly's going to have some tough decisions to make this offseason about what they're going to do to improve the roster. I like the Danny Green edition. I love the Steph Curry edition, but
Steph,
whatever. They're both like Steph. But you need to actually get a second option on this team, and because at this point for Embiid, I think it's wise for him to kind of sit out some games for health purposes, man. Look, a 7-footer, you're awfully injured. You had the foot injuries. Every year is an injury. So you have to kind of prepare your team for this. Like this year, he missed about 15, 20 games.
Right.
You have to prepare your team for this. But, I mean, I believe in Doc Rivers, but Atlanta's just so deep and talented at this point.
Which you brought me to my next point, man, and I think that may be the difference in the series is bench depth. I love the way Atlanta's bench plays, man. Them getting Lou Williams back, man. I can't even express how clutch that was, bro. That
was a theft.
I swear it was, dude. I swear it was, man. And I think he may be an X factor in this series. I like the way Kevin Huerter plays off the bench, man. I think as I'm talking through this, I think I'm making my prediction as I'm actually talking through it.
Hey, man, look, let me tell you the crazy thing. Cam Reddish off the bench. He didn't even play last series. Cam Reddish didn't even play. Think about that.
Right.
And they dominated the Knicks. Think about that.
No, I mean, you make a good point, man. I mean, they punked the Knicks. Let's talk about that real quickly because we haven't touched on that real quick. Let's talk about the way the Hawks just punked emotionally and physically punked the Knicks. I did not see that coming at all. I'm sorry.
I did. Let me tell you why. Julius Randle he's never been there in the playoffs, but
it's not like the Atlanta Hawks have a bunch of
no. Capella has been there, and I like their coach better than I like Tibbs. I like Nate McMillan better.
Speaking of under the radar moves, Nate McMillan, yeah. And we see how their season changed after that hire. But go ahead, yeah.
Look, people have said that the players kind of tanked it until Nate took the reins, but I'm gonna leave that where it is. Man, like I just was never a fan of New York of how they score. Like RJ Barrett he's getting there. He was way better than his first year, but to me, he's not a solid number 2.
Right.
And Derrick Rose, he's a good player, but he's your third option at best at this point in his career. And so I knew Rose was going to bring it, but I knew Randall was. I thought he was going to bring it. I actually picked the Hawks in 6 because I spotted the Knicks 2 games, at least one game at Madison Square Garden and one in Atlanta. But I just didn't see where the points were going to be manufactured for the Knicks. I mean, they're awesome. They're awesome defensive team, but offensively, it's just not there. Like if you got to depend on Reggie Bullock, uh, uh, Nerlens Noel,
Yeah.
and other people to generate offense, I'm not going to believe in you.
And let me ask you this, man, because I also think I'll even go as far to say is like their offense is kind of archaic in a way
Yeah.
because they don't push a lot of pace. You know what I mean? So,
And guess what? Julius Randle is their de facto point guard. If you pay attention
right,
to it,
right.
if you pay attention to it, he's like the point forward ball handler for them. They actually have a hold at point guard. They need a starting point guard on that team, and I'm interested to see what the Knicks do this summer because they have a hell of a lot of cap space.
Yeah,
and I want to see who they lure there.
I think they'll get somebody. I wouldn't be surprised if Kim Milwaukee ends up in New York. I really would.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know, but it
Hey
wouldn't
man,
shock me.
look, I'm done with that. You didn't turn me off.
No, listen, I'm not saying I even like that for either party. I'm just to me, it just wouldn't shock me. That's all.
I mean, he's from New York, Bronx
Yeah.
kid.
Yep.
But man, look, Milwaukee, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
This to me is the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like those Yankees Red Sox series. It's like this is probably going to be more interesting in the finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still going with Brooklyn, man. I just look at the end of the day.
I got Milwaukee in 7. I mean, now that Harden is injured, which makes it a little bit easier to defend a little more, and I think Milwaukee makes adjustments. As you can see, nobody's really going to stop Giannis but Giannis at this point.
Right.
And I think Milwaukee in 7. Like it's going to be a back and forth series, high scoring series, but I got Milwaukee in 7 still.
We look, the natural thing to do when you're talking about these two teams, we talk about the stars. Obviously we're going, Giannis and KD and Kyrie Irving, man. But here's the big if. If Blake Griffin or somebody of his ilk off the bench, if they get production like that from him or anybody else off that bench, I don't see Milwaukee beating Brooklyn. But that's a big if. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I expect Blake Griffin to do that for 5, 6, 7 games, whatever. No. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I expect that or not. But if they're getting that from Griffin, if I don't know if Jeff Green is coming back or not, man. But if they start getting production out of him, they're hard to beat. And if Joe Harris gets cooking, man, I don't see it, bro. I just think they're just too deep.
Man, look, man. For them to only lose by 8 points, you shot 6 for 30 from 3 last night.
Good point. Which I don't know.
Chris Middleton was 6 for 23. He had an awful game. And your bench didn't give you nothing when they usually give you something. It's a lot closer than you think.
Let me tell you this. Here's my hot take. I got a hot take for you. If Milwaukee wants to win this series, Drew Holiday has to be better than Kyrie Irving. That's my hot take for this series. Listen, I know that's very hot takey, but you brought that dude here for a reason. You get what I'm saying? It's a clear upgrade over Eric Bledsoe. Now you got to prove it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a clear upgrade, bro.
I'm not disagreeing with that point, but I don't think he has to be better. I think he has to put pressure on Kyrie to guard him.
Yeah,
he has to put the pressure on Kyrie to guard him, and I like him being aggressive last night. He just has to get a little more efficient to kind of make it even. But man, Kyrie is a beast in his own right. But like Kyrie shot 11 for 26 last night. That wasn't
that's pretty pedestrian, right?
And so at least he made it hard for Kyrie. But the blessing in disguise is James Harden not being there.
Yeah, true.
That's the true blessing in disguise.
Well, and not only that, but it's a wild card going forward because we don't know what that situation is going to look like from game to game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Let's move on, man. Look, look. The home team in the playoffs. I'm getting jealous. I want to move.
Yeah, I know, right? Talking all this basketball and don't even get me started, man.
Hey, man, what's your feelings on Robby Anderson, man? Robby Anderson. I've been seeing stuff where the Panthers would move him and shop him around. he hasn't been there for OTAs. Rula said he prefers his wide receivers be there, especially with a new quarterback. It seems as though he scrubbed his Panthers mention from his social media. And do you think Robby Anderson is on this roster during game day next year? First day of the game. First game next year. You think he's on the roster?
Absolutely. I do. I think this too shall pass, man. And it also leads me back to this first thought, man. I've said for a couple of weeks, man, I think the Panthers are running on a treadmill and kind of running in circles. And if we trade Robby Anderson, it will just lend more credence to that. Because it's just like, I have to ask, what the hell are we doing on a couple of levels? And on the first level is, okay, man, you want to do the OTAs, great. But let's be real. Robby Anderson is a vet at this point. Is it really that big of a deal if he misses OTAs? Like, seriously, let's just seriously. I know what the preference may be, but Robby Anderson is not a scrub. This is not some second, third year guy who needs to learn the system and learn how to run routes and all this other jazz. I'd say you just let go of the little stuff. On another level, you just traded for the guy. You just traded for him, what, season before last season, whatever?
Who, Robby Anderson? No, he's free agent. Free agent.
Whatever. Still. Like, so now, because of him missing OTAs, it's really that critical that you're looking at not having him play for you. I really don't understand the Panthers sometimes, man. I just don't.
Let me tell you something, man. It may not be the Panthers. It just may be him.
It may be. Let's be fair. You're right.
And somebody, I'm just looking at something. Somebody said that he's been stated saying he wants to play for a big arm QB. Well, no. It's just say that he's on the trade block. If we can get a third round or possibly a second round pick for him,
I said right. I'm not a fan of possibly losing Robby Anderson and Curtis Samuel the same season. I'm just not a fan of that. Man.
If you look at it, like if I'm the organization and I have faith in Marshall Jr., who I just drafted, and I've seen in the OTAs and he's killing it,
yeah,
I got to give him that playing time that he needs.
But see, and the things that makes this more frustrating is we've made all this jazz about having weapons for Sam Darnold. How many times have we mentioned, not we, but just sports media in general, mentioned so much about making sure Sam Darnold has all these weapons and we can't make the excuse that he doesn't have the same weapons he had with the Jets. And now we're talking about getting rid of Robby Anderson because he does want to come to OTAs. Dude, I'm sorry, man. That is frustrating, man.
I mean, look. As Chris said, he's a free agent next offseason. And more than likely, he's going to leave you for nothing. And so I see where they want to at least get a mid-round pick for him and just kind of move on and cut bait. But, I mean, I like the Terrence Marshall Jr. kid. I really think he's going to be a good wideout.
Here's the thing, man. And here's the difference between like the NFL and the NBA, man. Cap space matters so much more in the NFL. So if he leaves you for nothing, to me, big deal. I mean, yeah, of course you want to get something for him, but if he just leaves you for agency, man, whatever, dude. I'm just so not a fan of possibly of willingly. Having Robby Anderson off this team because of that reason. Now, another point I want to make is this is where the organization, they have to do some real groundwork. And what I mean by that is you get Rule, you get Fitterer, and you get Anderson in a room, and you have to talk it out like men. Everybody has to kind of talk it out like, hey, what do you expect? What do you need? What do you want out of this season? They have to get that from Robby Anderson. And from that point, you move accordingly, whatever comes from that. And if I'm the Panthers, that's what I do, man.
I mean, look, it's going to be interesting next few weeks to actually see what they do, because we just had a big wide receiver leave our division.
Hello. Hey, Danny, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, Prahlad.
Hey, Prahlad, how's it going, buddy?
So Julio Jones just got traded Well, it's I think it's official now. Traded to the Titans for a second and fifth rounder.
Hey Rodney, could you ask for anything better out of a week than the Lakers losing and Julio Jones getting traded out of the division? Could you ask for anything better this week, man?
Nah, man, it's
Not
been
really,
a hell of
right?
a week, man. It's been one hell of a week. Like I don't have to see this guy twice a year anymore.
Hey, real quick, that 300-yard game Julio had, I was sitting on the 50-yard line, bro. It was. I don't
I
even.
didn't know why you went down there. Look, look.
I don't even have words.
After that offseason, and we took 3 DBs back to back
Yeah.
to back. I'm like, no. It's gonna be a bad year. I refuse to go to any games, but man, look, Tennessee is gonna be some monsters. AJ Brown, Julio Jones, and then Derrick Henry in your backfield.
And then that cyborg they have at running back. Yeah.
Man, it's impossible to defend that. Like, and I know like people like to crap on Ryan Tannehill, but for the past 2 years, he's been a very good quarterback. Like,
absolutely.
Take out this Miami lens that you had of Tannehill. This is a different guy. Like, I wouldn't, like I was talking to Jamal earlier. I wouldn't be shocked if they went back to the AFC Championship game.
Same. I wouldn't shock me at all, bro. They're definitely in the conversation after this.
They man, it's whew. Man,
must be nice, man.
Man, look, this is like the equivalent of the Panthers getting rid of Cam for the Falcons fans.
Listen, that just reminded me of something, Rodney. So okay, the Titans have their fancy new toy, obviously, right? What are we expecting from DJ Moore this season? Seriously, like, there's been this thing amongst Panther Nation about exactly what DJ Moore is. Is he a top tier receiver in the NFL? Can we name 15 receivers better than?
No.
Okay.
No.
Can we name 10 better than DJ Moore? You know what I mean?
He's most definitely a top tier receiver. If you look at those numbers for the first couple of years of the career, he's up there, but he's not in a winning situation. And really, to be honest with you, he hasn't been playing with sexy quarterbacks to make it
right.
Better.
Right.
And for him to be doing what he's doing, if Sam Darnold is the guy as advertised coming out of school, I can see DJ 1,500 yards.
Yeah, absolutely.
1,500 yards, absolutely. It just matters how much he gets the ball. I mean, because that guy number 22 is back. And he can get the ball quite a lot.
But and not to be repetitive, man, but the Titans situation made me think about our situation, man, because they have their triple-headed monster. We're gonna have ours, maybe. I don't know about our
to be honest with you, I got AJ Brown a step ahead of DJ Moore.
That's fair.
Kind of a step ahead.
That's fair.
Because physically, I think he's more of a problem than DJ. But I'm not saying DJ ain't good. But I just like AJ Brown a little better. But DJ Moore is definitely a top, I say 10 to 15 receiver in the league. And
I think that's fair.
That's upper echelon. He's not like he's not a DeAndre Hopkins or a young Julio or anything like that. But he's up there. He's up there.
I see. I got you.
Hey man. So on the retirement thing, Mick Mixon, is hanging up his microphone after this season. 17 years. What's your thoughts on that, bro?
Dude, between that and Rick Bonnell's passing, and we can also if we want to go back a few years with Steve Martin retiring too, man. I feel like with Mick Mixon retirement, it's like the final stone of the changing of the guard with Charlotte sports. You know what I mean? Like all these staples are no longer with us, man. That we're in a situation now where like it's Eric Collins and Dale Curry now, and we're gonna have a new beat writer for the Hornets now, and now we're gonna have a new PA guy for the Panthers who's been around since inception. You know what I'm saying? So it just feels like an entire changing of the guard, and coming from someone I've been to a ton of Panthers games, man. I don't know how it's going to feel the same. I mean, of course, it's not going to feel the same. Let me say it that way. But who do you get to replace the guy? That's my question. Like, you know what I mean?
I was
Like,
gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say it. But
no, say it, bro. Come on, man. We family.
ain't gonna be nobody black. But
Come on.
see, I didn't mean to say that. But just like I mean, I like Mick a lot, and so sometimes when somebody like Rondé Barber's calling our games, I go ahead and put it on mute.
Yeah.
And put the radio on, listen to Mick a little bit. I mean, he will be missed, man. I mean, he's been with us for like 17, 18 years. He's the longest tenured, I think, Panther. Radio broadcast person ever. Before it was Rosinski. But it just reminds me how old I'm getting. Like like with Coach K retiring too. I'm not a Duke fan. Hold on, he made a good point. I would love Kyle Bailey in that position, but that's neither here or there. But just like Coach K retiring, like we said that we knew it was going to happen eventually, but we didn't know the day would be today. Like, and it's just like it just reminds me how old I'm getting. Like time waits for nobody, man. It's just kind of crazy just to see the changing of guard, like John Shires, and they're gonna be the next coach. Like I remember watching John Shire and hating him when I was at Clemson. Like,
dude, listen.
And now he's gonna be the coach. And like Hubert, I remember seeing him suck it up with the Knicks, and now he's the coach of UNC.
No, you know I'm older, man. I remember Hubert Davis as a freshman at Carolina, dog. So imagine how old I feel, man. You know what I mean? So now, I mean, it just goes back to what I said, man. All these staples, like how long? I have been not watching, but Coach K has literally been around as long as I've been watching basketball. Ever since I've started watching basketball, Coach K has been around. And
Coach K is Duke.
Coach K is Duke. And regardless of how you feel about Duke, man, number one, you got to respect that man. I don't care however much you hate Duke. You got to respect that guy. And to not see him associated with Duke is going to be extremely weird.
I mean, let me ask you a question. Going forward, is the Duke UNC rivalry the same, or it's gonna take a few years to capture that magic again?
I think it's gonna take a few years, man. Because number one, I already think it took a little hit just with the talent they have now, and you know what I mean. It already didn't feel the same this year, and losing Coach K and Williams it's not gonna necessarily help immediately going forward. So I do think it's gonna take a few years to get that magic back, so to speak.
Man, look, I'm gonna tell you this, and I don't want to seem like the bad guy. I don't believe in Hubert Davis. I really don't. Like,
I don't know if I believe in him yet. He has to show improve, man.
I mean, I don't see where he's going to be able to connect with these recruits.
But let me tell you why, and I don't mean to cut you off, man. But that's going to be so much more critical as far as that goes, because with Roy wasn't necessarily getting the 4 or 5 star recruits either. However, he figured out a way to make it work and to make them competitive even without the 4 and 5 star recruits. Is Hubert Davis going to be able to do the same thing, to your point? You know what I mean?
And this is a point. Coach K is Duke and is going to take a major hit. But if you pay attention, John Shire was the catalyst of getting him those one and dones.
Right.
John Shire was on the recruiting trail and actually pulling a lot of those kids in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Duke at this point is, as a brand, is a better brand than UNC right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm gonna just keep it a buck, because Duke has in the past couple of years, Duke has more kids in the NBA than anything one and done, and they're up there with Kentucky as far as like, oh, this is the one and done school. This and this. Duke at this point, Duke is cooler than UNC, man. Like,
who would have thought we would have ever said that?
Like that's just strange to me. That's very strange to me. Look, man. Look, I got a story, man. Somebody said this. I'm not going to say who said it, but they said they saw Hubert Davis at the Peach Jam, and certain coaches get cachets when they get there. in certain spots.
Mm-hmm.
Hubert ain't got no pool, bro.
Right.
Those kids ain't talking to Hubert. Look, if look, comment. Hubert David pulled a lot of those kids Roy got too. Roy got those 4-year kids. Roy didn't get those one and dones. And this is exactly making my point. Like the past couple of UNC classes ain't been good, man.
They haven't been good, man.
I'm not a fan of either school. They've not been good.
These kids UNC been getting the last couple of years been second round picks at best, bro. let's just keep it a buck, man.
Thank you. And so it's going to be interesting to see if people like if schools like Virginia can capitalize on this and use that momentum they had with that championship a few years back,
right?
To kind of make their mark on the ACC. And I'm also interested in Georgia Tech too, because Georgia Tech had a quietly good squad this year. I know they're losing a lot, but I like their coach, and so it's going to be interesting. Like I'm actually going to tune in this year because we know it ain't going to be Roy and whatever.
Yeah, right. It ain't Roy and K like it's been for the last 20 some odd years or what have you, man. And you know what I heard throughout your whole thing about Hubert Davis, like, is he cool enough? That's what I heard the whole time you were talking about.
That's what I'm saying. It's I mean, you got to be able to relate to these kids. It's all about cachet.
Yeah,
like Coach Cal is cooler than Hubert.
That's my point, right? Juwan Howard is ultra cool. Look
that's what I'm saying. Like, if Juwan Howard comes into my living room and I got an 18-year-old boy who is 6'6", a dynamic athlete, can shoot the rock, and you line up all these coaches, Hubert Davis is probably going to be at the bottom of the list. Look, I live in the Carolinas. Look, my child ain't probably going to Carolina, bro. like I'm looking at Michigan. I'm looking at young black head coaches who can relate to the culture. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Hubert turned off a lot of people with his statements a few months ago, and we can act like he didn't make those statements, but those statements were made.
It happened. Yeah. And kids are listening. Parents are listening. You know what I mean? And that stuff matters.
And it's just interesting, man. Look, he said Duke ain't won nothing with those one and dones. Look, Jaleel Okafor, Justice Winslow. Case closed.
Basically.
Case closed. That's all I gotta say.
That's it. Right.
But man, let's jump into our shout outs, bro.
First and foremost, man, shout out our brother Kaz who couldn't be with us today, man. Feel better, bro.
Feel better, man.
Yeah, man. Who else, man? Do I have any shout outs or shout ats, man? I don't know. Come back to me, man. I don't know if I have any shout outs or shout ats.
Look, man, shout out to Greg Olson.
Shout out to Greg Olson. Yes.
And his son, his family. His son was able to get a heart transplant. I'm just trying to pray for the actual recovery of your child, and it's pretty dope to see Panther Nation just kind of rally behind you. It just shows that the city of Charlotte and the community is it's still young, but it's still special. That we kind of rally behind our players and stuff like that.
I actually do I have two shout ats. My first shout at is the New York Knicks fan base. You took an L. Just accept your L gracefully and move on. There's no reason to still be talking about Trae Young. Trae Young is your father. Trae Young is all of y'all's daddies. Respect him as your daddy. There's nothing you can say to Trae Young. He's in the second round. You're not. Shout out to Los Angeles Lakers fans. Shout out to Charlotte Lakers fans. I have not seen this much crying and whining on my timeline since Ghost got killed on Power. Y'all are pathetic. Stop the crying. Stop the whining. You lost. I don't care why you lost. You lost. Let it go. Take your L gracefully. The Lakers get to fail up every year. You'll go get another All-Star next year. Y'all will be fine. But for now, please shut up.
I want to give a shout out to the NBA, man. It's it's gonna be the first time LeBron and Steph ain't been in the finals since 2010, and I like these new stars being exposed to the general public.
Absolutely.
I know there's going to be a slight ratings hit, but the true basketball fans I really like this because we get to see a stage with Donovan Mitchell, Jokic, Trae Young, Luka, even Kawhi, and then of course Devin Booker.
Hopefully LaMelo Ball next year.
Hey man, look, I'm just waiting to see the way them ping pong balls drop. That's bro. Oh man, look. I just want to say something. So I know I gave the Atlanta Hawks a lot of crap for trading Luka for
Trae Young. Yeah.
But man, look, you got to give this kid his props.
Got to.
He showed up in the playoffs and performed. He's in the second round technically before Luka got there. But I'm gonna say this: he has a better team around him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Say that. But you got to stop hating on this kid so much, man. He got his team to the second round.
That dude cold-blooded too, boy.
Give him kudos. He's a small, slight guy, but he got some heart.
He got some heart.
I'm not the biggest fan still, but I got to give him kudos on that. Like, and the Atlanta Hawks organization for actually going out and surrounding their best young stud with pieces that fit around him and that can help him elevate the team. Absolutely. And I hope Mitch Kupchak is kind of taking notes on this because kids don't like losing. like I tell people this all the time. Like, we got 6 or 7 years to impress LaMelo Ball, and if the Hornets don't put the necessary pieces around him and we don't perform, I'm not gonna be mad at him if he wants to say bye. I'm gonna be mad at the organization.
That's the business.
Because you didn't put the pieces around him. And that's all I have to say.
Well said.
Anything else, Jamal?
That's all I got, man. We just hopefully our brother will be back with us next week, man. And just can't wait to do it again next week, man. This was fun.
Man, look, I'm gonna say this. Look, we want to add more talent to the under construction roster. And if you're interested, send us an email. And we're going to talk about you amongst ourselves. And if we don't like you, you're not going to get picked. And if we do, and look, we understand that everybody has their own take. But if you can't defend your take and you're just saying stuff because you like to eat word salad, we're not gonna mess with you. But if you want to be a part of the under construction team, send us a message and we'll get back with you. And with that said,
until then,
peace out.
Till the next time, bro. Have fun, man.
All right.
Peace.